Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another Pokemon TCG video. Today we're going to look at a deck that's been around since, well, the beginning of this season. It's been very popular and very successful so far this season. And we're going to see if it can survive after the release of the new set XY Flashfire, which of course has a lot of fire Pokemon. So this is going to be a Virizion Genesect deck. Been around for a while, had perhaps the most success of any deck throughout this season, and for good reason. It's very consistent, very powerful, and let's just go ahead and take a look at the main strategy. We have Virizion EX. This card is awesome. Its ability, Verdant Wind. Each of your Pokemon that has any grass energy attached can't be affected by any special conditions. This blocks the ever-popular Hypnotoxic Laser from poisoning you, which can stop up to 30 damage from happening to your Pokemon. That's huge. This can also stop things like Excelgor's Deck and Cover, which poisons and paralyzes, and any special conditions, period. As long as you have a Grass Energy and a Virizion EX, you block them, nothing can happen. So that's good enough in itself to be pretty darn playable. And then we have the attack Emerald Slash. For 2 energy, we're doing 50, and then you can search your deck for 2 Grass Energy and attach them to one of your bench Pokemon. So not only does it protect your Pokemon, but also it gives you energy acceleration to power up attackers while also doing damage. This is basically the perfect support Pokemon, and we're actually going to run 4 of these because it is such a good starter. So we have 4 Virizion EX, and then the main attacker of the deck is Genesect EX. It's a 170 HP basic, has this incredible ability Red Signal. When you attach a Plasma Energy to Genesect, you can switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with the active. It is basically a Pokemon catcher every time you attach a Plasma Energy from your hand to Genesect EX. This just allows you to target things down and really gives you a lot of flexibility. I mean, Pokemon Catcher before the coin flip was one of the most powerful cards in the game, and now we have Red Signal still taking advantage of that same effect. So that ability is incredible. Then we also have Megalo Cannon for 3 energy, 100, and then 20 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So that's a pretty solid attack. But the biggest attack for Genesect is this G-Booster A-Spec card. You can only play one of them, but it's pretty worth it. You get to attach it to a Genesect EX, and then you get this attack, 200 damage for 3 energy. Discard 2 energy attached to Genesect, but it's not affected by any effects. So this will go through things like Safeguard, even something like Agility, Silver Mirror, anything you can think of. G-Booster goes right through it. This gigantic cannon just blasts right through any defenses your opponent might have, and it just allows you to knock out most Pokemon EX in one hit. The Mega Pokemon do survive this, but most regular Pokemon EX are going down to a G-Booster. So, pretty simple strategy here. You get to use Virizion EX, Emerald Slash, power up Genesect, and start attacking. Now, unfortunately, the newest set has the pretty devastating card Pyroar, which is not only a fire type, but also cannot be affected by basic Pokemon. So we're going to have to start running some kind of evolution line. Now, it is worth noting that G-Booster can go through Pyroar's intimidating main, but you don't really want to use a Fire-weak Pokemon against the Pyroar. So, as backup, we have a line of Raichu. Raichu has the attack Circle Circuit, does 20 damage times the number of your benched Pokemon. So if we have a full bench, and then also a Muscle Band, which we play 3 of, Circle Circuit can do 120 damage, which does knock out a Pyroar in one hit. Now, Raichu has the added benefit of being Lightning type, which means it's very useful against popular Pokemon like Yveltal EX and Lugia EX as well. So Raichu seems to be a pretty perfect support Pokemon now that Flashfire is out. So that's pretty much the attackers for the deck: Virizion, Genesect, and Raichu. Raichu is a card that did see a lot of play towards the end of regional championships in the spring here, but I think it'll see probably a lot more play now that Flashfire is out. So we have these Pokemon, and then we have one Jirachi EX as well. This is a card that I've just liked more and more as time has gone on. I've seen people afraid to play this now that Lysander is out, since it could just be picked off at the 90 HP, Pokemon EX. That's a very big target, but sometimes it just allows you to search for one of your awesome supporter cards, so it ends up being worthwhile. Let's take a look at the trainers of the deck. They are just as important as anything else. Of course, we can start with the supporters. For Skyla, just allows you to search for a trainer card. This is very good to search out that big old G booster. We have 4N. Pretty much every deck plays 4N. It's just a great draw card, great disruption card. Honestly, this card might define the format. We have 3 Professor Juniper, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. 1 Chorus, shuffle your hand in and then draw a card for each bench Pokemon. And then 2 Shadow Triad, which is very important in this deck. You get to take a Team Plasma card from your discard pile and put it into your hand. So let's take a look at all the Team Plasma cards we have in this deck. The number 1 target for this will be G-Booster. This is a Team Plasma Pokemon, which makes it pretty unique that it's an A-Spec card that you can get back. This is pretty cool. And normally the only way to get these back is through Sableye, Junk Hunt, and Attack that can get item cards back, but no, we can actually get G-Booster out of the discard pile with Shadow Triad, since it is a Team Plasma card. So that just makes it that much better. We can also get Plasma Energy. Actually, this might be the most targeted card with Shadow Triad. Get back a Plasma Energy so we can use Red Signal once again. And then we can also use it for Chorus if we really need to. Get a Draw supporter back into the hand. And we can also do it on Genesect EX, another Team Plasma card. Or Chorus Machine. Now, Chorus Machine, we're going to play one of these. It allows you to search for a Plasma Energy and attach it to one of your Team Plasma Pokemon. Just a little bit extra energy acceleration for Genesect. It does not allow you to activate Red Signal, but sometimes you just need one more energy to attack. So those are the supporter cards. For our stadiums, we have 3 Sky Arrow Bridge. The retreat cost of each basic Pokemon in play is 1 less. So if you take a look, everything in this deck will have free retreat with Sky Arrow in play. 1 retreat, 1 retreat, 1 retreat on the Pikachu. No retreat on the Raichu, and 1 retreat on Jirachi. So everything gets to retreat for free. This just makes sure we can use Emerald Slash turn 2 almost every game. And that's what we're aiming for with this deck. Other trainers we have, 3 Energy Switch. Oftentimes when we're done using Virizion EX, the energy just kind of sits there on it. We don't want to Emerald Slash anymore. We want to start using Megalo Cannon or G-Booster. And Energy Switch allows us to take advantage of that by just moving some energy away and moving it to a more appropriate attacker for the situation. This is a very good card in this deck. We also have our standard 3 Ultra Ball, discard 2 cards, search for a Pokemon. We also have 1 Level Ball. This allows us to search for more Pikachu and Raichu very easily. Don't have to discard cards to search for those. Also can get Jirachi EX, which is nice. We have 2 Enhanced Hammer. This is a card that's only good in specific circumstances, but enough decks do play special energy that this becomes pretty relevant. For example, most Pyro decks and Charizard decks will be playing double colorless energy, as will decks with Yveltal EX, as will Team Plasma decks. A lot of decks play special energy, so Enhanced Hammer, very good. We also have 1 Super Rod. This is normally just going to shuffle energy back into the deck, but we can also shuffle in part of that Raichu line as well sometimes. 1 Professor's Letter allows us to search for 2 energy, put them into our hand, basic energy only, and then 1 Startling Megaphone. Discard all tools attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, you could actually play Tool Scrapper instead of Startling Megaphone in a deck like this, because sometimes you have a Muscle Band attached to your Genesect, and you'd rather have a G-Booster instead. But I think Startling Megaphone, discarding all your opponent's tools is pretty powerful. So, I don't know, it can go either way. I'm just going to go with Startling Megaphone right now, on the off chance someone still has the guts to play a Tool Drop deck. That way I can discard all their tools and feel very good about myself. Alright, so that is the deck. I guess we have 9 Grass Energy to round it out. This is a very simple deck. There's not too much complicated going on. Very basic strategy, some powerful trainers, that's it. This deck's strength lies in its consistency, and it is very, very consistent. So let's go ahead and take a look at this deck in action. I'm sure pretty much everyone has seen it before, but hey, we'll see another game with Virizion Genesect now that it has Raichu as well. So we are going first, which is very good for this deck. Going first makes this deck a lot stronger, I think. It just allows you to get a turn 2 Emerald Slash pretty much every time. We can do it before things like Garbodor come out, or Blastoise comes out, things like that, before your opponent gets a chance to evolve. It's just really nice to be able to go first. And we're starting off with Virizion EX, so hey, it doesn't get much better than this. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play a Skyla here, just to take a look at what we have to work with. And I'm just going to see our important cards prized. I'm going to grab Professor's Letter first, and I notice that G-Booster is indeed prized. We're going to take a look through, see if anything else important is prized. I'm going to look for Jirachi EX. That is there, and everything else seems to be fine. But it is very important to note that the G-Booster is prized. That way we can't just be aggressive with it. This can be very devastating sometimes, but that's alright. The Professor's Letter makes sure I do get a turn 2 Emerald Slash. We're going to hold off on the Ultra Ball, just so I know I get an Emerald Slash off. And then next turn we'll just grab a Genesect and be able to Emerald Slash onto a target. That's the idea there. So we see an Ultra Ball discarding an N and a Hypnotoxic Laser. There is Trubbish with a Float Stone, and there's an N. That's okay. Now we do see, I did get an Ultra Ball, so we can get a Genesect still, which everything should be fine. Now I do see Trubbish means Garbodor, so this is pretty much obviously going to be an Yveltal Garbodor deck, which is okay. This is a decent matchup, especially with the Raichu in our deck. And I'm going to go ahead and attach that Grass Energy to Virizion EX. I could attach Muscle Band, I'm not sure if I need to, but I may, if I get an opportunity to red signal out Trubbish next turn, that might not be a bad idea. And I'm actually not going to bench anything else because of Absol's Mind Jack. And we'll get this turn 2 Emerald Slash, doing 70 damage, and then getting the 2 Grass Energy onto Genesect as well. So this is a pretty much picture-perfect start for me. Got everything going. Hey, that's fine with me. Now we do see Hypnotoxic Laser and that Garbodor coming out. And a Mind Jack for 60. And, oh no, I actually stayed asleep. That is a very big bummer. Now that means I've already taken 90 from the Poison and the Verbank. And the Mind Jack as well. So now no matter what I do, I'll be knocked out from Poison and Mind Jack. So I'm okay benching another Pokemon here. I'll bench a Pikachu. Got the Sky Arrow out, but wow, that was a major turn of events right there. Instead of being able to just Emerald Slash for a knockout, now my opponent gets the first 2 prizes, and that's pretty devastating. Very upsetting, actually, that sequence of events happen. It just shows you how powerful Hypnotoxic Laser is and why Verdant Wind is so good on Virizion EX. If I would have gotten a startling Megaphone there, I could have regained Verdant Wind, I would have woken up, everything would have been fine. But again, you can see the main reason Garbodor is so annoying is that it does shut off Verdant Wind, which brings back those pesky Hypnotoxic Lasers. Okay, so we'll certainly see a Mind Jack knocking out this Virizion EX right here. That's going to be bad news for us because we're down 2 prizes already. And now I got to decide what to attack with here. I'm probably just going to go with the Genesect. I do get the Super Rod. We'll go ahead and shuffle in 2 Grass, and I may have an opportunity to use Jirachi later, so we'll go ahead and grab that as well. There are 4 Virizion EX in the deck, but oh look, I got a Jirachi. So not exactly what I'm looking for right now, but we'll go ahead with the Megalo Cannon. It's kind of overkill on the Absol, but oh well. And then we'll just hit Yveltal EX for 20 since, you know, I'm not really planning on attacking Garbodor. And if I did, it would be with a Megalo Cannon, and that's a knockout anyway. Alright, so he did get the G-Booster out of the prizes. That's a very big deal. My opponent has an Yveltal EX with, let's see, a couple Energy, a Muscle Band. Boy, that adds up fast. There's an Evil Ball for 140. If we saw a Laser and a Verbank there, that would have been a knockout, and that's very scary, honestly. So now I have to decide what to do here. I could just G-Booster take the knockout there. That's one option. Only thing I don't like about that is then my Genesect is just stuck there with 30 HP. And that's just, it's so easy to knock out, right? Laser and a Verbank is a knockout. Sableye with a Muscle Band is a knockout. A regular Yveltal using Oblivion Wing is a knockout. It's just not pretty. So I think I might want to try to use Raichu in this situation. Now that does give my opponent the potential to power up a Darkrai, Night Spear, and knock out both Raichu and Genesect at the same time. That would be absolutely devastating, but the odds of that happening are pretty low. My opponent has 5 cards. I believe there's a Dark Patch in the discard pile already. So I'm willing to take that risk at this point. Seems very unlikely for that to happen, and more likely that something like a Laser and a Verbank would take down my Genesect. So we're going to try to use Raichu here. I'm going to go ahead and Level Ball for the Raichu, and then we can Ultra Ball, getting rid of Enhanced Hammer, and then Colress Machine. I am going to take, oh man, I'm really kicking myself for taking the Jirachi instead of the Virizion EX there, but that's alright. Just didn't work out in this circumstance. And let's see, I've already done 20 damage to the Yveltal EX. So right now Circle Circuit's doing 60, and we can make that do 80 with the Muscle Band. We can actually hold on to Jirachi in case we do draw that Startling Megaphone to get back the Stellar Guidance. But now this will be 80 times 2, and that 20 from Megalo Cannon did make a difference. So we'll Circle Circuit for 160 damage, taking the knockout on that Genesect EX. And look at this. We're in... I mean, we had a pretty devastating opening. Turn 2, it looked fine, and then stayed asleep on the Laser, and that's just a real bummer every time that happens. And from here, it's just... Hey, we took a knockout on the Absol, we took a knockout on the Yveltal, and now we've taken the prize lead. And like I thought, it was very difficult for my opponent to even get a Night Spear on that turn. Not even a Dark Patch is seen. We see an Enhanced Hammer and a Dark Patch coming out. So I think this turn it would be smart to attack with that Genesect. A Night Spear is probably going to happen. So I might as well just put up the Genesect to take the brunt of the attack. That way, you know, 2 things don't get knocked down instead of 1. So we'll go ahead and retreat into Genesect right here. I will Ultra Ball, getting rid of... Well, let's see. Do I really need to Ultra Ball? I could get rid of like a Sky Arrow and a Muscle Band. I think I want to Energy Switch here. In case of an N, I want to have just another Genesect powered up, ready to go. I know my opponent's going to use Enhanced Hammer, and that can be a real bummer. So we'll just get the energy off of Raichu right now. And yeah, I'm going to Ultra Ball for a Virizion EX, just to have one in play, and just to thin out some cards in case of my opponent playing N. We're going to go for another Megalo Cannon, and again, it doesn't really matter where I put the damage, does it? No, I think it's just going to go right on to Darkrai. And alright, we'll take the prize here, and all of a sudden, we're looking to be in some decent shape. We have a Skyla in hand, we have an Energy. All we need to do is G-Booster, 1 big EX. There's an Enhanced Hammer, there's a Dark Patch. A Random Receiver goes into a Lysander. That's one of the concerns you would have with playing Random Receiver and Lysander. You can't hit it. And that's not always a pretty sight, but my opponent had a Juniper anyway. And there we go, Darkrai all powered up. Gonna get hit by the Night Spear. I'm glad we didn't leave Raichu active. Think of how bad this would have been had that been the case. But now we see the Night Spear knocking out the active Genesect, doing 30 to the benched Genesect EX. And even though we gave up a free 2 prizes at the beginning, we're going to be able to just take this game right here. Raichu and Genesect are just super strong against this Yveltal Garbodor deck. And there we see G-Booster coming down. My opponent's not even going to let me use it. He's going to concede. And there we go. Virizion, Genesect, Raichu. I don't know, can this deck survive with Flashfire? I'm sure it will survive, but will it remain a Tier 1 deck? That's to be seen. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I am Pooka from the Top Cut. I will certainly have some more videos for you soon, and I'll see you guys next time.